Welcome to Pitch in the Zone, a weekly gathering of coaches that help one presenter improve their 3-minute pitch. The coaches include Nathan Gold, a pitch coach and specialist for high-stakes presentation coaching. We have Scotty Spursum, also from San Francisco. Her specialty is pitch coaching with a twist in languages. So she will pay a lot of attention to language. We have Marco Vezzale, a serial entrepreneur joining us from Thailand. And we have a few guests today that are here to watch what's going on. And of course, I do encourage everybody to provide feedback as well, because you do not have to be a professional coach. You don't have to be a coach at all to notice what works and what doesn't. Our presenter today is Saif Din Akani. Saif is an experienced presenter. In fact, Sentient Blue, of which he is the CEO and CTO, has won last year's $1 million prize with the Genius New York competition. So it is not the first time that Saif is presenting, pitching in such a way. And what I really appreciate is that even an experienced presenter like Saif takes the opportunity to become better and utilize the services of our coaches here at Pitch in the Zone. With that, welcome to Pitch in the Zone, Saif.
Thank you.
And the floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you very much. So, if you can see my screen, my name is Saif Din Akani. I'm the founder, CEO, and CTO of Sentient Blue Technologies, and we are in the process of revolutionizing the drone industry. Now, why would we do a thing like that, do you ask? Well, did you know that most drones, 80% of the world's drone fleet, in fact, are powered by lithium polymer batteries, and they have a nominal flight time of 30 minutes. When you add a payload, a useful payload, that goes down to about 20 minutes. In the dead of winter, it actually goes down to about 10. And this is because of the chemistry, the underlying chemistry of lithium polymer batteries. Lithium polymer batteries are clunky, they require a lot of maintenance, manpower, support, and we have a solution that will make lithium polymer battery powered drones obsolete. We are working on a hybrid microturbine solution. There are 4 main components to it. It's got the microturbine, our own electronics, and an energy storage device. And with this, we can offer, using our intellectual property and our novel approach to microturbine engineering, we can offer an increase in flight time by a factor of 4 to 5. That effectively means that you will be able to support a business case that is currently not possible. In terms of our competitive analysis, you've got the old technology, which is lithium polymer batteries. You've got existing technology, which are microturbines with repeated design flaws that have been present in the architecture for 30 years. And then you've got the big 3 like Pratt & Whitney, Rolls-Royce, and General Electric. They're not coming to this market anytime soon for various reasons. They're slow to adapt. They've got high overheads. Our business model is one of B2B. We are targeting the military, commercial, and the hobby industry. And the total addressable market is $100 billion. Of that, we are targeting as an addressable market $1 billion. And we plan to target $35 million in revenue over the next 3 years. And the amount of market that we're targeting is only limited by how fast we can grow and scale up. To pull off the kinds of technological feats that we've done over the past years, you need an exceptional team. This is the pedigree of the team that we have assembled and have been working with for the past 3 years. And this is the team that's responsible for the intellectual properties that we filed starting in the United States, which will be completed on the 17th of January, 2021. And on that note, I thank you for your time.
Wow, very, very, very good. I love this pitch. If you want to stop sharing the
Yes,
screen
of
so
course.
we all get a little bit more space here.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Saif. Really, really great pitch. And it's always a challenge when you are pitching something that is complex in nature, right?
Yes.
Technology that many people do not understand, to make that link and really, excite the audience in some way. Great slides. So all in all, really wonderful. You were perfect on time. Your experience clearly shows. So let me open up the
Thank you.
floor to our coaches. Today, I'm going to start with Scotty. Scotty, what have you noticed? What kind of feedback can you provide to Saif? And you might be muted. Yes, you are muted.
Thank you. Good morning, Saif. That was very interesting. I think one thing that might make it even more interesting for the listener is hearing a little bit more enthusiasm in your voice. It almost sounded like you had to do this. There was a big sigh in the beginning. Yeah, well,
I have to confess that I appreciate the compliments about the delivery and whatnot from Claudio. The sigh that you heard was because these slides, I hid some of them and they didn't come up in the order that I was expecting. So the sigh that you heard was my frustration with myself.
Well, and that's human, and that's great. I mean, that's good to know. But it felt like when you got into the business model, you started to sound like you to me. It sounded it sounded a little bit awkward. And so even if you feel awkward, like your slides aren't coming up, or I had some problems with my technology yesterday.
Yes.
I was in a workshop, and you still have to use this medium to replace face-to-face.
Yes.
So you still have to bring some of that. It's like, okay, instead of assignment, it's like, okay, so let's go with this. Or, it's okay to sort of be human. Or if the cat walks behind you or the kid knocks on the door, it's stuff happens and it's okay. Yes. Also, the hybrid micro turbine solution is really interesting, but I didn't catch, and maybe it was just me. You were a little bit fast, I thought, and speedy in the delivery. I couldn't catch the size of it, and to me that might have been interesting because on the slide it looked pretty big, but on the drones, I mean, I wonder if you showed it, I missed it. If you didn't show it, I think it would be sort of interesting to see how it compares.
Absolutely. Let's see. I'm trying to find. Just 1 minute, please. Open. That is an excellent point. We've done this before, and because of my lack of time to prepare, I did not have time to do it or present that particular slide on this occasion, but
no worries. You could describe it. I mean, the same way you had described the Parmesan cheese, right? Did you know it's as expensive, as gold? It's like, did you know that it can fit on that?
I can describe it, and I would love to, but if I may be bold and suggest that a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Always, but when in doubt.
So this is the slide that I should have shown. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
That middle picture is my left hand, and that's one of the units.
Okay.
So it literally fits in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop sharing now.
No, that's great. But when you can't, like in the moment when you can't, you can, because we can see you on the sidebar. Yes. The only other sort of administrative thing might be consider numbering your slides, maybe, because when I was taking notes, it would be really nice to go, slide number 4. Could you give me more clarity on that? So,
yes. Okay.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it for now. So pretty cool stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scotty. We might circle back as usual. And next up, Marco. Marco, what were your observations and how can you help Saif make it even better?
Yes, thank you. Well, first of all, the slides look very impressive, very clean, very professional, very well done, even from the choice of colors. Like, I love the one with the contrast white and blue and white in the half. So compared to a lot of others that we've seen, I guess these are, if not the best, at least one of the best slides we have seen here.
Thank you.
The only thing maybe my advice would be, since my teachers taught me that the best way to connect with the audience is using emotions.
Yes.
And I think it's just stupid examples, but with drones, you can bring so many stories. Like, you know, you bring your kids to play with a drone and then he gets sad because he can only play for 10 minutes. Or
Right.
drones are the future of wars. So imagine if you have your drone protecting your soldier and runs out of battery and somebody gets killed. You know, it's
Yes.
just stupid examples, right?
Yes.
But to give like people kind of, because it was perfect, your presentation, to me, it was almost surgically perfect, meaning perfectly clean. There was
Right.
no, being, you know, kind of feeling emotion, not
Yep.
having too much emotion. That's the only thing, but it was really great. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
As always, great feedback, Marco. Thank you very much. And I actually agree with this part here, Saif, totally, right? Some story might help, an analogy, something, you know, what does it mean emotionally?
I absolutely agree, because the comments that I'm getting from Scotty and now from Marco are reminding me of the pitch that I gave at Genius New York finals night. Apart from the numbering, the page numbering, what Marco is describing is exactly what I did that night, because I was explaining to them is like UAVs or drones in the military, they would be supporting ground troops, and the military needs to have drones flying all the time because lives are at stake. So this reminds me of the delivery that I gave in that respect. So
Excellent.
I will make a note to make sure that I make an effort to connect with the audience on a higher level and in a better way in the future.
Right, right. Even if you don't have so much time to prepare, right? This part should be second nature almost, right? Where you have one or two stories, an analogy, a metaphor, something in your back pocket that you're pulling out every single time that you're pitching your
Yes.
company or product.
Understood. Agreed.
Nathan, you are nodding along. Please take the floor and help
Nice to meet you,
Saif
Saif.
make it better.
Nice to meet you too, Nathan.
Yeah. I didn't get to coach you last year. The guys brought me into the program this year. So I'm glad that Jeff suggested you. When I saw your name, I didn't recognize it. And then I thought, oh yeah, you were from last year. But anyway, super, you have an amazing voice.
Thank you.
Nobody's mentioned that, but you have a radio voice in my mind, in my ears. So when you speak, the energy and the electricity that's coming across from just your normal voice is really powerful. You pile a tiny bit of enthusiasm on that, on top of that, and you'll own the world. So
I hope so.
if this doesn't work out, you have a radio future in your radio future.
Well, I don't need to own the world. Just I need to lease a tiny part of it.
You got it. You got it.
Thank you.
I have three things to say. One is, because you are obviously really well prepared to pitch your business anytime, anywhere.
Yes.
In the future,
Mm-hmm.
I know you wanted to show us slides, but in the future, if there's 10 seconds of techno challenge, chuck
Mm-hmm.
the slides. Just say,
Okay.
I don't need my slides today. There seems to be a problem. Let me just take you through it. Stay
Okay.
full screen, talk to the camera.
Right. Okay.
Especially in this world of a camera. It doesn't matter if you can't show me a slide, so what? But, you know, in a real life situation, it might be a little different, but actually it's not. You know, if you walk into a room and the tech isn't working, well, sorry, tech's not working. All right, let's have a conversation. And that brings me to the second point. You're quite conversational in your approach at certain times during,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the beginning. And as Marco said, you know, that emotional connection with the audience has to be every single time, single time. Because people will remember people will forget what you say, they'll forget what you do, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. Quoted from Maya Angelou. So go for the feelings, always, always.
Yep.
And then, I don't know, I guess because of not being prepared, really, you were kind of looking over here, and when you look into the camera, you're making eye contact with us. So in
Yes.
this virtual world, the camera has to be your best friend. And
Good point, because the reason I was looking over there is because I've got two screens, and I was looking at the presentation while I was delivering it to you. But noted.
just flip them over, and if your camera is in front of your screen, put the presentation right behind the camera, and then you can look right through the camera.
Definitely.
And make your point.
Definitely.
So, okay, the last thing. The one most important thing that I feel is completely out of this presentation and missed completely is your team. You said, here's my team, and I only saw logos. I didn't see faces. Not that I have to see faces, but I only saw logos. And what you said about your team didn't give me a sense of, like, I didn't get it. So the team should, in my opinion, needs to be a little bit more substantial. But what was really missing is your personal humble brag.
Right.
Like, you talked for 3 minutes, and when you started talking, I thought, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. But who is this guy? He does this incredible micro turbine stuff. He's telling me lithium. I mean, you must have some, what is your background? What's your experience?
I spent the last 30 years hopscotching back and forth between Formula One motorsports and the aerospace industry. So
could you just start with that, you know, after spending 30 years going blah, 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 you know, I mean, come on, man, that actually just says, whoa, okay, now keep talking. That's the magic humble brag that we need from you in the first 15 seconds, maybe in the first 10 seconds, because then we trust you more for the time you speak.
Claudio actually got a bit of a snippet of it because I recognized his accent because I used to live in his neck of the woods in Switzerland.
Oh, okay. That's it. We'll go on to somebody else, but thank you for coming today.
Okay, thank you very much. I found it very valuable.
And yes, this is absolutely great feedback as always, Nathan. And I agree about the humble brag, right? Because when we spent a few minutes before this session here today, this is really where I went like, whoa, Formula One, right? I mean, that's a trigger. That's a trigger. Anybody, and we didn't talk about 30 years in Formula One. It was already impressive that you just told me Formula One. If you would have said 30 years, I would have been absolutely floored, and we would have canceled this session here today. So yeah, absolutely. Try to make that part of your pitch as well.
Will do.
Liederman, how are you today? You have been in Saif's spot before. What have you noticed that you liked and he could improve?
Well, first of all, I apologize. I ran a little late. I'm in a virtual conference and I had to swap from. So anyway, had a little bit of technical issue. But I saw the last few slides. I loved the logos, but I was confused again with your team and the logos. But the logos itself were very powerful. So I thought, okay, maybe he's going to tell a little bit more about what he's done with them. And I agree with your voice. But I thought you were a very strong presenter. Although I was late, you captured my attention right away. And I think it's a combination of your voice and your experience was coming through, and the slides were phenomenal. So that's.
Thank you, Liederman. Great feedback as well. Chris, I don't know when you came in. Have you seen the pitch?
Yes, actually I did. And,
all right, go ahead.
I really liked the pitch, and it piqued my curiosity. I don't know if you would actually want to cover this in any detail during a 3-minute pitch, but you had a slide that had I'll call it the drivetrain, the battery, the turbine, and something else. And I spent some time trying to be a physicist, and it kind of has piqued my interest. And so, first of all, how efficient is this thing relative to the battery and relative to, let's say, Mr. Carnot?
Right. Well, we're shooting for 40% efficiency. This is converting the fuel to useful energy. And we don't look just in terms of the efficiency. We've done a complete life cycle calculation. So from the time you take the raw materials out of the earth until the time you recycle. And based on that, we have a carbon footprint that is far below lithium polymer batteries by a factor of 4.
That's great. And I guess just so I understand, your battery is your power store and your, I guess your base power source that drives the turbine, like
No.
jet fuel, or no?
Nope. The actual, so we are making use of the limits of the technology. So as you spin a generator faster, if you're able to spin a generator faster, then that means that you can shrink it both in size and weight. So the existing generator sets that are out there, to produce 8.5 kilowatts, they weigh, and this is actual, these are actual products that are out there. 8.5 kilowatts is 17.5 kilos. That is an actual product that's out there. Our unit produces 8.5 kilowatts constant, 16 kilowatts peak, and weighs 3.63 kilos. And the reason we're able to achieve that is because we're not spinning a generator at 6,000 RPM. We're spinning a generator at 120,000 RPM. So when we spin it at those speeds, it fits in your hand, and it only weighs 1.4 kilos.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great story. You should add that to your pitch.
I will consider that for sure.
So out of curiosity, again, how do you spin it? What drives it?
So our generator is a 2-stage turbine. So we have the generator, the gas generator at stage 1, and then the motor generator unit, as we call it, is connected to a free power turbine. So it's the free power turbine that is spinning the generator.
And the fuel is gasoline, is that correct?
No, we avoided using petrol or gasoline. We use Jet A1 or diesel or carefree mixture of the two, and we can also engineer it to burn hydrogen.
Interesting.
Just for a lark, we set one off using virgin olive oil, and it does work. And we use virgin olive oil because we were looking to be able to use these for disaster relief for miniaturized ground power. I don't know if you remember that horrible event back in 2005, the Aceh, the tsunami. Well, the United States Armed Forces were instrumental in the relief effort, and they would basically be shipping container-sized relief packages and putting them on the ground. In those relief packages would be medical supplies, clean water, food packs, this kind of thing. But there would also be electrical generators, which are made from these, engineered around these clunky internal combustion diesel engines, which weigh a few hundred kilos. The thing is that when they landed these things and unpacked them, then they needed to find the fuel to power these things. Now, if you know anything about East Asia, you know that coconut oil is a staple part of the diet. And the reason that we fired one of these up on olive oil is because olive oil sits in the energy bracket, the same energy bracket as coconut oil. So we reasoned that if we could burn olive oil in a turbine, we could burn coconut oil. So if you were to put one of our units in a disaster area, you could burn oils from like palm oil, coconut oil, olive oil, whatever is available, until such time as you had the traditional fuels available to you.
Right. That's great.
All right. All right. Well, thank you very much for these questions, Chris, because, and you will see this later on, Saif, if you go back to the recording, right? Chris had clear purposes behind these questions because he started to tickle out stories from you. Okay. And of course, it always depends on how long is your pitch. In 3 minutes, you cannot tell all of these things, but yes, there are some nuggets in there that you just communicated to us in the last 3 minutes that I think some of these could have a very, very good role and a space inside of your pitch as well, right? To add even more of that credibility that, you know, you guys are, not only do you know what you're talking about, but you are highly, highly innovative. You're looking at so many different places to find solutions to solve specific problems. So go back to the recording later on and you will find out that, yes, some of these nuggets here could very well be put into your pitch.
I will do, for sure.
All right. Hai, have you noticed anything? Hai also has been in your position a few weeks ago, Saif. Hi, what have you
Hello, hi.
noticed and how could Saif make that pitch even better? You're muted. Hi, you're muted.
I think you're muted. Hi.
There we go.
Sorry. I love the pitch, the use case and the way you talk kind of like conversationally throughout the presentation. I'm trying to learn and try to work on my pitch also.
Thank you.
I don't have anything to add. That I can say.
Quite a testimonial as well, you know.
Thank you.
Yes. Madeleine, your first time attendee here today. What have you noticed? How can you help Saif make this really great pitch even better? Muted.
I think you're muted as well, Madeleine.
Muted. There ought
I
to be a
still
big
haven't
There you
learned.
are.
It's been like 8 months. I think I like the point about kind of personalizing it right at the beginning and saying, you know, this is it. This is my experience, and this is how I got into this field. I always think that right from the beginning, that's a really good way of making people see it from a different angle. I think you're solving problems sometimes that people don't know exist. And so actually saying how you came across a problem and why you decided to tackle it is always a really great way to make people connect.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Madeleine. And Paul, you will be up very soon as well. So you've gotten a good feeling for how we roll here. What kind of feedback do you have for Saif?
Hi, Saif. So
Hi,
great pitch. I've always been used to putting the team slide close to the end. And it's one of those last things I want to say, by the way, this is the team, this is the amazing team that's running it. And after listening to Nathan over the past couple of weeks, he completely changed my mind. And he made a point saying that putting the team slide a little bit earlier changes everything, because everything you've been saying up until they see the team is in question.
Right.
You know, because they don't know who you are, right? So I started putting my team slide earlier on, and I'm finding that it's a little bit better because it gives more credibility to everything that you're going to say afterwards. Because I was listening, I thought everything was great, but I didn't realize how great until I saw the team, and I'm thinking F1, Ferrari, Rolls Royce, like this is the dream team, right? I should have known this right away. But other than that, it was fantastic.
Thank you, Paul.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Paul. And this also just shows that, you know, we can learn so much by watching somebody else's pitch, right? With, you know, putting on the hat of a coach and say, how can I help this person improve it in some way or another? So thank you very much, Paul. And of course, I look really forward to seeing you in 2 weeks as well and help you with your pitch. With that, I want to thank all of the coaches for spending their time, not only today, but for the last 19 weeks, every single Thursday. You guys, and of course, girls, Scotty, you rock. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And a very special thanks to Saif, who did a great job. And to finish things up, I would like to ask you for some feedback to us, Saif. How was this session for you? And in what way can you make this experience something that will improve your pitch even more?
Well, I think some of the points will certainly stay with me for some time to come, especially the ones from Marco and from Scotty and Nathan. I will obviously review the recording and try to cement the lessons that I've learned from this particular exercise, because we've got a big pitch coming up in December. So I think I'll have about 15 minutes, not 3. So I'll be able to take a more, shall we say, relaxed tone. But I do appreciate that you need to be as equally relaxed in a 3-minute pitch or 15-minute pitch. It should not make any difference. You should basically just adapt. but I found the exercise very useful, and I'd like to thank you for having me on.
Our absolute pleasure. And if you want to come back at one point, right? If you take now this input, you are percolating it and then creating something
I would love to come
and
back.
you want to get another sanity check, maybe before you pitch in December, please
I would
feel
love
free,
to
come back, you know, put yourself on our calendar, and we'll be so happy to see version, in your case, it's not 2.0, but version something or another, yeah?
Indeed. I think for a sanity check, it's a bit too late, because anybody who does a startup is probably certifiably insane, but a reality check, definitely.
There you go. There you go.
How about this? Before we run, how about this, Saif? When you have 2 weeks or so, or maybe 3 before that important presentation,
yes,
come back here and just give us the first 3 minutes.
Okay.
Because once you get through that first 3 minutes with your humble brag and all the things we kind of talked about here, I think we can leave you on your own for the rest.
Okay. Thank you.
But just come back, give us the first 3 minutes, because that's really, you know, probably one of the most important parts of that presentation. So come on back, no charge.
Will do. Thank you. Love to.
Great idea, Nathan. Great idea. All right. And with that, I wish everybody a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. See you next week.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Stay safe and well, you all.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
Thanks.